you believe in the Bible, answer these questions. Now, only one answers. I don't need no you lost or you dumb or none of that shit. Just answer my questions, please. And all these answers should match because y'all all believe the same book. So in the Bible, it says Adam and Eve was the first people on this earth, right? But then how did all other races evolve? If two Caucasian people or whatever race they was, how could they possibly make other races? And better yet, wouldn't we all be related? Another question, Noah's Ark.
My guy, honestly, it kind of make me sad how nobody in the comments can answer this man's questions. But I can. Alright, so first what you messed up at is when you brought up Adam and Eve and saying how two Caucasians can make other races. Let's start off by saying Adam and Eve was not white, they was not Caucasian. But two black people can make other races, which is called the Eve gene. You can just go read up on that yourself. Not to mention the oldest bone found in the world is from a black woman. Now let's get to the book of Enoch, which was taken out of the Bible. The book of Enoch was taken out of the Bible because it was rejected by the Jews, because it contained prophecies pertaining to Christ. Now let's get into how other races was really made while using the Bible. Scientists honestly proved that the Bible was real without even knowing it, honestly, when they found out about the Neanderthal DNA. I do not know if y'all know about the fallen angels. Everybody in this world was black to start off with. The fallen angels were sent down here to watch over the people, but instead they started having sexual intercourse with the people. With the fallen angels having sexual intercourse with the people and disobeying God, they had kids and created giants, which then giants started to have kids, which created Nephilims. And when them Nephilims began to have kids, they created Neanderthals, which scientists proved that Neanderthals did exist, which then the Neanderthals began to have kids. And not only that, where those people was living, there was a lot of sun. The Neanderthals couldn't take the heat, so they hibernated to the Caucasus Mountains, which then the Neanderthals began to have kids, which began to create this. Caucasians were made, not born. It's a mutation. Also, and since you talked about the bloodline, God speaks about how after the third or fourth generation, you lose a certain bloodline. Kind of like if a black person have a kid with a white person. That kid is 50% black, 50% white. Then say that kid goes back to a black person. Now that kid is going to be 75% black, 25% white. Then after that kid goes back to a black person, that kid is still going to have an itsy bitsy piece of white DNA. But after that kid goes back to a black person, the white has disappeared and is soon to go back to its natural race. So sooner or later, that whole bloodline will be wiped out. So think about where that bloodline will be at after thousands of years has passed. You had a lot of questions, so now I gotta make a part 2.
Be related? Another question, Noah's Ark. So y'all truly believe that Noah grabbed 2 of each animal and put them on a boat and none of them ate each other? But y'all call me a deceiver and an antichrist for not believing in something that obviously doesn't make sense. So I just want to know, how do we repopulate after Noah's Ark if God flooded the whole entire planet and only Noah and his family survived? Y'all saying that Noah's our ancestors? So you telling me this guy right here, including me, and this guy has the same ancestor and we're all related? I really want to see what answer y'all can give me for that. Just think about how you sound while you're typing it. Another question, if heaven and hell is real, you have to die to go to heaven and hell.
My guy, so you truly believe that if God can speak to Noah and his people to create the ark, that he couldn't spiritually speak to the animals to let them know not to eat each other? He created human and animals. I'm pretty sure he could speak to both. Also, have you not heard of the Eve gene? The Eve gene is a mitochondrial DNA that could create any color of race. So let's talk about the book of Enoch that was taken out of the Bible. I don't know if y'all know the scripture of the book of Enoch where it talks about Noah's father and mother going up to Enoch telling him that Noah looks like the kids from the fallen angels, as if he's a descendant of the fallen angels. You can go watch my part 1 to tell you how people were created in different shades and forms. Noah was of a pale skin, albino. That's why his father and mother was scared of him and said that he looked like the children's descendants of the fallen angels. He was a pale skin and colored eyes. Also, God talks about the 4th and 5th bloodline, where your bloodline will wear out after a certain amount of generations. So yes, Noah did have to repopulate the world. Him and his family. Noah was albino and his wife was black, which she contained the Eve gene. After a certain amount of generations, your bloodline will wear out. For instance, if a black person has a kid with a white person, that kid's going to be 50% black, 50% white. Then if that kid goes to a black person soon, their kid is going to be 75% black, 25% white. And if their kid goes to a black person, that kid is going to only have like 1% of white inside of them. Then after that, sooner or later, that bloodline of white will be wiped out. That kid will only be of one race. That bloodline has been thinned out. Also, you can go watch my part 1 to show you how Caucasians was made, which basically it answers this question also. But there were curses put upon his people. So after thousands of years, your cousin far, 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 far on this side is black, and your cousin far, 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 far on this side can be white. But you will never know. That's the power of life. And that's the power of Yah. So you can't also just read the Bible. You have to go read the parts of the Bible that was taken out also. It could actually answer all the questions that you're asking. But you asked a lot of questions, so now I have to make a part 3.